Hey my friends, welcome back to Frog Boy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I wanted to tell you guys, I wanted to update you and let you guys know what's going on with the whole Battlemage thing. I've made the difficult decision to not cover Battlemage, to not cover Intel at all. Actually, I think I'll just stick with AMD and Nvidia going forward. I tried to get this card today. I went to Newegg, I went to Best Buy, I went to Amazon. I basically went everywhere. The only ones that I could find were more expensive than the $249. And you know, I set aside like a budget for the card. You know, I was gonna, eventually build out a whole like test rig or whatever, but I was just gonna use the B580, for like the next month or something. But I got to thinking, man, as I'm sitting there searching for this card and stressing out about trying to find it and all of that stuff and not being able to get my hands on one, I came to the conclusion that, like, look, man, everybody's already had, like, Intel's already sent the card out to multiple people. They've already pretty much, put out a ton of content on it, and the time required for me to actually get it and get content out, start making content, actually use it for a whole month, deal with the driver issues that everybody's talking about and stuff like that. I don't think that it is going to make a big enough difference overall for the channel this month. I look at something like that as kind of an investment, not only to like grow the channel, but to also bring in the ad revenue toward the end of the year. It kind of helps me like build up a little bit so that I can invest more in the channel in the beginning of the year. And right now, guys, I just put myself in a situation by buying those Fanatec pedals. Those things are 7 years old, and they are just not bringing in the views that I would hope for on an investment like that. So that right there is already, put me in an interesting position, revenue wise, as well as the, and the capture card and the new lens. I just bought the capture card, the new lens, the keyboard and the mouse. The keyboard and the mouse didn't do very, very well on like overall views and stuff like that. So I pretty much spent that whole budget that I was gonna do, like that I was gonna build like a test PC and build out a test PC and then pick up the Battlemage card. So I've just decided I'm not going to cover it. I'm just going to, try to kind of fall back on, making the PlayStation 5 Pro videos. There's been a whole bunch of patches that have come out, so I'm going to be working on those this weekend. I'll still be covering the Fanatec pedals. I bought the kit for it so that I can actually like check out, like the harder, the harder, gosh dang it, elastomers and stuff. So we're gonna check that out. We're gonna focus on the stuff that we already have throughout the rest of the year, starting next year. And then as soon as like CES comes around and we find out more about AMD and Nvidia, then we'll make the decision then to buy those. Those are 100% must buys. The test platform is not 100% guaranteed just yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a 50 series card and and like the top of the line AMD card, no matter what. Those are 100% figured in, no matter what. Those are like 2 years worth of content. Yes, this time I am going to keep whatever Nvidia GPU I buy. Guys, something is kind of, when Witcher 4 comes out, depending on when Witcher 4 comes out, that game's kind of got me leaning, toward grabbing a pretty potent Nvidia GPU, because I want the best experience that I can get with that. And I know that, just recently CD Projekt Red has 100% been putting a lot of focus into making sure Nvidia customers are happy. And that sucks, man. I love CD Projekt Red. I love the games they make, and it really does make me sad that they won't show AMD users the love that they show for Nvidia. That really does suck, man. And it really kind of, you know, puts me in a position to where I have to have an Nvidia GPU to play that. I mean, obviously I can get pretty decent performance out of my 7900 XTX on Cyberpunk, as well as The Witcher 3. So maybe it's not necessary, but at the same time, if AMD is only coming out with a GPU that is basically mid-range and not necessarily going to surpass 7900 XTX in power, that pretty much puts me at like only an Nvidia GPU, and I'm kind of hoping that the like a 5080 or a 50. I might end up with a 5090, man. I might. That game right there really does put a lot of emphasis on how I'm gonna react, you know, for games. At least for that. I know that this game is going to be baked in. Obviously, it's Unreal Engine 5, so it might do really decent on the 7900 XTX. Obviously, I'm going to test it on the 7900 XTX when it comes out. So either way, you know, it just depends. I'll probably test it out on what I already have, and then, you know, I'll make a decision from there how I'm gonna proceed with that. But I do know that this is going to feature pretty heavy ray tracing effects from Nvidia. And you know, guys, it's not that I have a problem with ray tracing or that I have a problem with Nvidia. The thing is that we've only gotten a few path tracing games this whole generation of the 40 series cards. And most of those have been at the tail end of this generation, and that is already really chipping away at the overall performance levels that the 4090 and the 4080 actually have. So when I look at that and I'm like, wait a minute, you know, that doesn't seem right. You know, I feel like we should have at least a sustained experience. I don't feel like every single path tracing game that comes out, it should be chipping away more and more performance off of these, you know, essentially still high-end, very high-end cards. Like, the thing is right now these are high-end cards, and you know, once they run out of steam or whatever, and then people, you know, down the line are like, oh yeah, man, I'm going to get a 4080 or 4090, and they get them, you know, used, or they get them at a good deal or something like that, and then they actually look at those cards as like, yeah, man, the 4080 or 4090 is a 1440p card or something like that. Is well, their mindset coming into them will make those cards better. And you know, there's two levels for Nvidia GPUs. There's the day one buyers that buy it right then and they use it and they're like, yeah, this is awesome. And then when it starts to like go down in power, they just move forward. And then you've got the other guys that buy used a little bit later, but their mindset is a little bit different, you know, when they buy into that card. So, you know, there's two ways to look at Nvidia GPUs. There's the brand new market, then there's the used / discounted market that gives you a better. I feel like those people that are buying their like used or in the discounted market or whatever, I feel like those guys are getting a pretty dang good deal because they're buying them, and their expectations for what those are going to do is actually a lot better than somebody like me that's buying them day one and my expectations for those cards. So it's just kind of interesting how that whole thing works out. And yeah, guys, I don't necessarily have a problem with Nvidia. I feel like I get more bang for my buck and longevity when I buy AMD. So yeah, guys, that's the update on the B550. I've decided to just not even worry about Intel. Yeah, I mean, like, what's the point? Their CPU, I mean, AMD has the best CPUs right now, and you know, I'm really comfortable with my AMD experience, and you know, going out and checking out Intel GPUs at the low end, I'm not going to use that card. Like, that's not my base for using that. And there's plenty of other smarter channels out there that know how to test these cards a lot better than I do, that can better serve that market and better serve that audience for that lower end stuff. So all right, my friends, if you like this content, do not forget to like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.